Hey everyone, Tim Schofield here, and I constantly get asked, hey, why don't you use the iPhone as your daily driver? Why does it seem like you always seem to go back to Android devices as your main device? And there are actually a few reasons for that. Now, before I get into this video, I do want to say that I have nothing against Apple, nothing against Apple products. I've actually continuously used the MacBook Pro after my 2-week challenge. I'll link to that below. And I also included the iPhone 7 Plus as one of my favorite devices of 2017. So with that being said, I want to go ahead and talk about the very few things that I actually don't like about the iPhone 7 Plus and kind of what deters me from using it as my daily driver, and things that Apple can do that can improve upon the iPhone 7. Now, to begin, there's a couple things that really deter me from using this as my daily driver, along with a few other things that I think can be improved upon. However, they are deal breakers. You'll notice I have the iPhone 7 Plus right here, which does have that brand new honeycomb slick wrap on it, which I think is my favorite one yet. I think it looks really, really cool. I'll link to it down below if you're interested. But now, to begin, the first one is notifications. Now, to begin, let's talk about lock screen notifications. And keep in mind, this is a personal opinion. You may not agree with me. You may like some of the features that I actually dislike. So just kind of keep that in mind. So you'll see I have a couple notifications from Instagram. I just posted a picture on there, actually. And you can actually act upon them individually. So if I swipe over to the right, I can hit clear. Now, this is one thing that I wish would change. With notifications, I wish you could just swipe in this direction and it would clear it. I don't know why I have to do 2 steps, swipe over and press to actually clear that notification. That's a bit of a pain. Now, I can 3D touch on it to act upon it, which is a pretty cool feature. I actually like 3D touch. Now, tapping on it really doesn't do anything. To open it, you swipe over this way. Now, if you unlock your device and go back to the lock screen, that notification disappears, which is a little bit of a pain if you have multiple notifications you'd like to act upon and you lock it, forget to actually act upon the second notification. But however, you can swipe down from the top, which is an alternative. However, I just wish they would leave all notifications on the lock screen at all times until you swipe them away. So you'll see I pull down and I have a bunch of different notifications. Now, because I have a lot of notifications, you'll see I swipe down and they are very poorly sorted. You'll see Instagram in particular, just in this use case scenario, there's a lot of those. However, scattered in there, you'll see I have an email right here. I have a Hangouts message right here. I could potentially have a text message, Snapchat. They get littered in. There's no way to sort them by date anymore or specifically by app, which is what needs to happen. They need to go ahead and take a note from insurance companies and bundle these notifications together, which is exactly what happens on Android. And this is something that Android really does a lot better, is bundling the notifications. Now, there is a clear all button. You can tap up here and tap twice or 3D touch on it, but that just clears them all. You can't clear any specific app, whereas if you bundled it, and you say, hey, I don't want to see any Instagram notifications anywhere, you can just swipe away the bundled Instagram notifications, and then you can go ahead and act upon the rest. And they are very cluttered. This is so cluttered. I mean, even if you don't have this many notifications, which is a little out of the ordinary, but if you have an email, text message, a Hangouts message, a Snapchat, I mean, just those 4 in general, they can get cluttered. They aren't and multiple ones, specifically maybe an email, multiple emails, they aren't bundled. They're all very separate. Now, you also notice on iOS, they use numbers to notify you of specific notifications in an app. So you see I have 9 emails, 1 Snapchat. You can follow me on Snapchat, Instagram, all those various social media accounts. I'll link to them down below. And you'll see within Google, if I open up this folder, I have 4 Hangouts, 1 Google Photos, 23 YouTube. So you'll see they are all right here. However, which is fine if you're on your home screen, but I spend very little time sitting there on my home screen. I'll be within an app. So you'll see I'm in an app. I can't tell if there's any notifications going on without swiping down up at the top. They need to have some sort of ticker up at the top to let me know that I might have missed a notification from an app without having to act upon it. That is something that I kind of wish that was on the iPhone, was just some sort of icon up at the top if an app had a notification, rather than simply just numbers on the app icon. As I'm sure you've already guessed, notifications is the big one for me. That just kind of annoys me the most and frustrates me the most when I use this as my daily driver. Now, the next one is the back button, which has been missing on iOS throughout time, and it is getting better. Don't get me wrong. You can just swipe from the left side of the screen, go back, and that is something that app developers can implement universally, and you'll see I can just swipe back. It used to be you had to go up to that back button, which you don't need to anymore. But if there was a back button down here, it might be a little more convenient. It's not that big of a deal anymore because they have implemented this, but I do occasionally do this, where I accidentally activate that 3D touch recent apps, so you just kind of got to make sure you don't push in too hard on the screen. You do get used to it. It'll occasionally still happen, but you will get used to it. But just kind of keep in mind that it is a little bit of a pain, specifically on a bigger screen phone that you have to kind of readjust, as opposed to if you had a back button right down here, you could just drop down, tap it, and go back a screen. I also wanted to make a very quick side note in that the iPhone 7 Plus is a very great piece of hardware. I really did like this device. Like I said, a lot of these features that I dislike are very related to software, which means they can fix them very easily, and hopefully this does happen in the near future. Next, I do wish iOS had a little bit more customization options, specifically in terms of being able to add an app drawer. I wish that was one that you could just do. Just say, hey, I want the app drawer option, I want the only icons option. Having to completely reorganize these all of the time is a bit of a pain, adding folders, labeling these folders. I really wish I could just say, okay, I want to go to all apps sorted alphabetically, and I can find which specific app I'm looking for. Now, Apple did go with some widgets now. When you swipe over to the left, even on your lock screen, you can activate those by swiping over to the left like so, which is nice that they do have them. However, you can't intermix them with your app icons at all. If you could click, maybe press and drag specific widgets over into your home pages that do have the app icons, that'd be a little nice customization option. Now, they did add the keyboards that you could customize. You can't customize app icons. Just a bunch of various customizations that I think a lot of people would like. Now, a couple more little ones. In-app settings. So you'll see I loaded up that camera, which I do really like on the iPhone 7 Plus. It does a very good job. There is really no way to change settings within the app. I really wish they had more in-app settings. Now, if I want to change camera settings or messaging settings or any app settings, I have to go specifically into the settings app, and there's no quick shortcut to jump into that settings app. You see I swipe up, there's no settings button. There's really no settings button at all anywhere within the home, unless you go to the home page, press settings. Now I have to go find camera, I go to general. If I want to go to message settings, Safari settings, any specific app settings, I have to go into and find it. And that's very difficult compared to something that if you were in an app and you just had a quick settings button to customize those settings, you wouldn't even have to leave the app. So I kind of wish that they implement that in the near future. Feel free to go ahead and drop a comment. Let me know what you think about what deters you from a specific phone, whether it be the iPhone or even an Android phone. Just leave a comment. Let me know. I'm very curious to hear your personal opinions on this specific subject, of course, because it varies on each person, which is what's so great about having this great competition. Now, one more thing I want to add. Whenever I've used iMessage, which is amazing. iMessage is a really great feature. I really wish it was a cross-platform feature, but it's not, and I do understand that. Anyways, iMessage, if I have a group message with multiple people that have iPhones, so if it's me, 3 friends, all have iPhones, and we all have a iMessage group message going on, and I switch from my iPhone to an Android device, they all need to delete that group message before they can send me another group message, because I will not receive them because their iPhones think I still have an iPhone and it's sending it through that iMessage. So they need to go ahead and delete that entire group conversation before they can send a new one for me to actually receive it, which was a huge pain back when I used the 6 Plus and switched back over to Android. So that actually deterred me from using iMessage when I use the iPhone 7 Plus, and I really, really want to, but I wish Apple would at least make that not an issue. So anyways, that's about it. So you'll see not a lot of things deterring me from using the iPhone. It's getting very close. There was no question of going back to Android as my daily driver after using the 6 and 6 Plus, but now the 7 Plus is really getting me to start leaning towards using it. However, there are those features that I do wish were there. That notification system just really frustrates me. So again, it might be different for you. Leave a comment, let me know. Click that subscribe button. More coverage coming on the iPhone, MacBook, and more Android phones, as you guys know. So anyways, thank you guys very much for watching. I really appreciate it.